YouTube land. This is Jen Hart. Jen Hart Be Awesome and my guide to life and everything. I talk about everything on the channel, but more specifically, self care, resilience. I had a little bit of a sigh there, clearly. Um, how to declutter your mind and your life. And this is important, especially since the world is epically changing every day. I live in America, so if you know, you know. Um, it can feel very scary if you are letting the external cacophony noise get to you. I've been um guilty of this too. I uh I have ADHD, so maybe everybody with ADHD might have this feeling as well, is that sometimes the shiny squirrel news thing of the day can get you riled up, and it's obviously distracting. For people who do not have a just easily distractible brain, it's still very distracting. It's made to do that. All of this is made for the tool to take you out of your own creative mind and power. I'm not saying this is like a government trying to do that. It's a collective energy that says if you are scared, if you are upset, if you're angry, if you have any emotion that is not and even long-standing positive emotions, like I used to work in mental health, like mania is not, it's creative to a point and then it's just destructive. So, a mania is a heightened state of illumination, like jubilee, like a heightened state of like your best moment ever, and it's elongated, and people love that state when they're mentally been depressed for very long, but it's not sustainable, and neither is negativity, fear, anxiety, and obviously we're human. We're going to have these emotions, and the emotions aren't the problem until they take over our lives. Like being reactive to everything or everyone, like on the internet, on the social medias. Like reactivity is so easy that that means that the person that is triggered and or upset, both sides, and talking about it, oh, it popped up. Managing your own, because it is a part of how you stay empowered as a person and how you aren't leaking energy. And anytime, because it's part of the way our current system is. I'm sure when there was no TV and no radio and no internet and no it was a lot less distracting to get off your own personal course. Um but there were also different rules of engagement socially. Society was much smaller. You could, if you wanted to run away with the circus, you'd still be frowned upon, but at least it was like not the whole world saying that you can't do this or you shouldn't do this, or I hate you because you have blue hair, or whatever the nonsense or noise is happening. Or I hate you, or I hate this thing because I feel disempowered by it. And the reason why I talk about this individually and within my personal groups as well as my clients is that all of this, it doesn't matter. We cannot let the external, like things that are not empowering you, to distract you from your vision, your purpose, your dreams, your goals. And we do it all the time. We allow, I mean, I'm sure in the past 24 hours, I've spent maybe 3 or 4 hours ruminating, or maybe not ruminating because I've been thinking about many things, but like, I don't know, draining my energy, leaking my energy into an area that's not benefiting me. That unless you have, um, the whole idea of this is that the more empowered, the more you take care of your emotional, physical, financial, spiritual energy, you have more resources to take care of yourself and also other people, the people that really need us, whether it's your neighbor, your family, your friends, or somebody who has been mistreated by other groups, etc. If you know, you know. Anyway, and this goes across the board of any human on the planet, like not just in the United States, but I'm living this experience, so I can only speak of what I'm currently going through and my knowledge based from that. Um, so how do you not get distracted? um, I mean, there are some people that are wonderfully not on the internet. I know them, and they live. Mm, I mean, eh, maybe lives of bliss. I'm not quite sure, but they're. It doesn't mean they're not reacting to, say, somebody driving and cutting them off, or somebody in their own personal life that they're being highly judgmental about, or even just like if your mother is or father are not treating you like an adult. Like all the things are happening on all levels, whether or not social media exists or not, or news exists. Like people are people. And that's why I teach emotional regulation. That's why I teach people how to get back and take back their energy. Like one way you could do this is at the end of the day, or even when you're just feeling like a little more drained, is like you literally ground, you close your eyes if you want, and you look at yourself and you surround yourself with a white light. You ground into the earth, and then you ask for all of your personal energy to come back into you, and you cut any cord that is not your energy, and you send it back to the sender or the original energy source, and or through the ground so it can be transmuted. um so honestly, you almost feel relief fairly quickly once you get some energy back that's yours. And anytime we get angry, and like I'm not saying don't talk about things, it's how much energy are you willing to express in a certain direction, whether it's disdain, whether it's upset. If you can't do something physically about it, like you can't um like like if you're not in actually in the politic world, or you're not in advocacy, or what can you do? Well, you can donate money. You can stand up for your neighbor who's getting shit on by somebody else. Like things like that you can do. But this overall upset all the time, 24/7, 7 days a week, it's not serving unless you're actually taking action to do something about it. Not just that, you have shit to do in your own life that you are not doing because you're distracted by things. You have a calling in your life. Um, it doesn't even have to be that big. It doesn't mean you have to be on social media. It just means that the more distractions there are, speaking from somebody who has ADHD, and it's weird. I have hyper focus on many different things, but I have too much stuff in here. So my job is to declutter my mind as often as I need to, recenter, reawaken basically, and ground myself to be the present moment so I can say, okay, what do I really have to do now? And it's much easier in an emergency situation for my brain because it turns on exactly and can prioritize immediately. Where on an average day that is not filled with an emergency, like and my brain does know the difference between like somebody's bleeding versus somebody emotional pain, and then somebody who is just like whining. My brain knows the difference. So I'm lucky about that. But being able to say on a day that's not an emergency, my brain has a bit of a hard time if I let it run free with all these distractions of, and it's not even like Chicken Little, it's actually things that are going wrong, or wrong might not be the right word, but not in a way that feels good. It doesn't necessarily feel, we don't know. And I believe, a core belief that I have had since I was a child, is that everything is working out for everybody. Um, and even through shit, there's going to be some flowers or something, some seed that will grow in it. Like, thank God for manure. Uh, and weirdly to say, considering the shit that's happening. It's legitimately, if you don't have that perspective, you feel very powerless and then you freeze or you stay stuck in a circle of your own personal hell. We don't need that. We need people that are empowered. We need people to say, you know what? I like this. I like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Where can I change in me? What can I do to empower the world? What can I do to help my neighbor? What can I do to make sure that I'm not going insane every day when shit is hitting the fan? Or when it, you might know this in your personal life, has nothing to do with politics or world events or whatever. It's like when you get distracted by um a person that didn't call you back for like 12 hours or text you back or whatever, like, especially in dating, like, your brain will literally hijack you if you don't have management or control over the thoughts that you think. You might not have control over the emotions you're having because they're important, they're telling, and it's information, but it's not always true. Not every thought you think, not every feeling you have is absolute truth. And to empower yourself to know this is super helpful because then you can start um, decluttering the junk that says that you're in lack. And I don't know, I come from a spiritual perspective and I've been through hell multiple times in my life. Not the worst hell in the world, but in my own personal life, um, not having resources, friends, people, love, money, a home. I mean, things, like literally my things were on a beach in Daytona, Florida when I was 12. Like, no, I had nothing. So I come from a place of still knowing there was a resource. You don't have to call it God or source, or I call it source, but whatever you call it, there's an infinite energy always available. It's called love, and maybe it looks different for everybody, but it's collectively what we all share. Sorry. And most people are not tapping into it because they're scared. And I call it creativity, intuition, flow. Like, and just when you get a good idea, that good idea is like the resource that can give you everything in your life. It's similar to when you fall in love with something or someone, you have energy that you've never experienced. That energy is infinite. And that beautiful place of where we create from, it's getting muddied, just like this. It would be like not powerful, potent, directive, decisive. It's getting distracted because of all the things that we see 24/7, 7 days a week on this platform, on other platforms. And I'm not dogging the platforms themselves specifically because thank God I can connect to you. I can connect to my friends on other places. I can see art and music and history and what people are creating in the world because this exists, this internet. It's a lot easier than waiting for the postman to come on a pony and give me like a magazine. Like it's so much easier to connect. Yet we are inherently distracted from our own creativeness, our own solution finding, our own infinite possibilities of not feeling like we're alone or feeling like there's like we're a resourced, even if you have no money. Now that's hard to swallow because it's hard to see that when you have no money or when you have limited resources or you're feeling the pressure of debt or change or uncertainty. Like those things will scare the bejesus out of you if you don't have a solid core of individual personal power to say, you know what, I always get through stuff. and I can get through this again. It's like a resilience, but it's not just resilience in spite of. It's because you're human. You're always going to be resilient. Like if you, I mean, you have it within you. You might not be enacting it. You not like the same with attention. I might not always enact attention to the things that are more positive for me or what my goals or dreams are because I allow the distraction. And obviously, I have a brain difference that makes that incredibly difficult to actually um, do what my brain, like me being empowered versus like letting the brain do whatever the fuck it wants. And yet I still get shit done. Yeah, I still have an organized house. And like, yes, I do the bills, I do the things, and I still can get shit done, even if it's not perfect. But like, legitimately, the whole idea is I'm resourced. And when I continuously declutter the mind from the things that say that I'm in lack or in, like, there's no possibility. And it doesn't mean that it has to be a specific way. Like, um, getting out of one's own way is also seeing like, okay, if this way isn't working, going a different route. It's kind of like, I don't know, poor kids before the GPS. Or you can use the GPS as an example. Like you're going down a road and then it's blocked. And then the GPS is like, continue to the highlighted route. But there's no road or there's a blockade. So you have to figure out a way around without the GPS being helpful because somehow the program wasn't downloaded that that's the correct way. It only knows that way. That's our brains. Our brains love to think that that's the only way. And a lot of society is built on that. Like the only way is to go to college. The only way is to get a job. The only way is to do this. The only way is to do that. No, there's infinite possibilities and you have to be aligned to those possibilities or open to them more so. And being open just means being aware and not holding on to that one way. Like, I think it's helpful that I worked in corporate and I worked in banking and I worked in retail and I worked in social work and I worked along structured paths, unstructured. Meaning, like, eventually, if the path itself was too, I would say claustrophobic, but like for some people, that brings a level of certainty and security that they can't live without. And I love stability and security, don't get me wrong, but I also know how to create it from within, even in the worst times of my life. And obviously, I'm not perfect at it because there have been times I've been shitting a brick and crying and upset and felt lost and felt like there was no hope. Like there were times I can say absolutely that, yeah, shit wasn't feeling good and I felt abandoned by people and the universe and God. And that doesn't mean that was true. It just means that's how I felt at the time because I got closed in. My energy contracted so much. I was in a state of fear and anxiety and sadness. And it just took a nugget, I would say a mustard seed of hope, of love, of goodness to bring me back to life, to see the possibilities again. And it's not some of it's instantaneous and some of it obviously takes time over a course of, I don't know, months, years, whatever. It's not like, oh, I'm a millionaire now. I mean, I live a very nice life. And I can get into the trap of I don't have enough or I'm going to lose it because the brain likes to, like, oh, if you're certain that shit's going to hit the fan, and this is a good analogy, if you're certain that shit's going to hit the fan, then you can just stay stuck. Then you can just rant and bitch and whine. And I say this was love because I was a person that didn't know how to get out of their own way. And what would say I had a pity party about my circumstances in life. And that distracted and pulled energy into that level of energy instead of putting it into possibility. Like, oh, if I take one baby step this way, I'm getting closer and closer to my goal. So like for people who have a business, or people who are just living their lives of like say you want to date and you're like, there's no good men. Well, you're helping create that reality because you literally cannot see the good men in your world because you literally are closing off your brain from seeing it. Like your reticular activating system, it's legit, look it up, Google that shit, will allow you to see the things that you aren't aware of. Like they're there, but you're not seeing them. So, like, if you say today, I'm going to look at the color blue, Tony Robbins does this, a whole bunch of people do this, and I've done this too with clients. Like, tell me everything that you see in the room, count all the things you see as blue. And then all of a sudden, you will see more blue than you have seen since the whole time that you were looking around. This is the same for the things that are good in your world. When we use our creative energy to look for the things that are what we want. So, for example, I see more people that love other people, even in the contrast of where there are people that are not very loving. This is not to turn the blind eye completely that the people that are unloving exist. Of course, I have it a little bit in myself. There are times when I'm judgmental asshole. 90% of the time, I'm not. Maybe 99% of the time, I'm not. But that doesn't mean I have to focus on it. We literally get in our own personal reality, the more we get, the more we focus on something. With ADHD, it's a very interesting world. Hence, I get a whole bunch of variety. Which my brain likes and my nervous system probably doesn't. But the variety is there because my brain focuses on so many different things. If you have an easier brain, or less challenging brain, I should say, seeing the good, seeing, Rogers would say, seeing the potential for great positive change, even when things are not so positive, is where you have power. Because it's not just the seeing, you will see more of it, and then you will be able to get on board that train faster in your brain. So it's like literally, like if I see, it's like pointing out the gratitude and appreciation in life, which grows the thing more. I appreciate what's in my bank account now. It might not be as much as some people in the world, like who shall remain nameless, but that doesn't mean I can't appreciate and look at it and saying, wow, I'm appreciative of what I have, and look how I worked for this, or look how this manifested in my world, or I'm so grateful I get to do what I do in exchange for resources. Or it doesn't even have to be money, but like what other things? Like what can you expand upon that you want? Like you want more time, you want more freedom. You can literally do that by clearing out a drawer or clearing out old items or old memories that don't serve you anymore. My biggest challenge is digital clutter. And then I also have a mind that occasionally pops into the idea that if I don't save this, even if I haven't seen it for 8 years, that there's something like, not something bad's going to happen, but it's like a sense of like control that I will lose, that this particular information, and it's not even like tax related or anything, it's legitimately just like some random email that I had that I don't need anymore. Like, it's weird how our brains continue to do this. I don't do this with much physical stuff because I learned a long time ago, hence having all my shit on a beach at 12, is that I wasn't attached to things as much. I mean, I had my moments, but I don't have a lot of things because I just don't put a lot of meaning behind things, although I know if I lost them, it would be more about, do I have the resources to remind it? And any sentimental meaning I have to re-put into my mind and to remind myself of that doesn't leave me just because the item leaves me. And the same with thoughts. Like if we're continuously resentful or upset about people, alive or dead, we're not letting that go to let space in for more good things, more energy, more positive flow to come in. I'm not saying forgive or anything like that. It's just, but the energy trail is always there. It's an energy we live in an energetic universe, and every thought that you think has our energy field. Every thought, whether positive or negative, has that. Hence, the distraction is so easy when you can manipulate people with positive or negative. I would prefer to be positively manipulated, but then again, that's a subjective thing. We don't know. That's why I say positive pressure can work to your advantage in my last video if you want to check it out. Hi, Tommy. Hi, baby. We got a Tommy Thomason. Handsome boy. So, long-winded way of saying I love you. If you want support on decluttering your mind and your life so you can have more power to create, to take care of those people that you love, to take care of these beautiful animals like this one. This is the baby. This is Tommy. To do, honestly, just have more energy and personal, not just personal power. You'll feel better. Like, when you're not attached, when you cut the cords of the energy that is leaking, whether it's an email that you didn't send that you have to, whether it's papers that you didn't put away, whether it's having too much visual or emotional, spiritual clutter, like when you haven't called back all of your energy regularly, it is like kind of like showering or brushing your teeth. It's like hygiene. It's energetic hygiene, and it's self-care. It shows the universe as well as yourself that you respect yourself. You respect your body, mind, and spirit by calling your energy back from things that don't serve you and don't empower you to either change something or do something, or or to fill you up. The whole point of self-care in general is to have your energy, your love, your self, whatever it is, body, mind, spirit, but mostly when you feel full, you overflow. So anything that's coming towards you, whether it be love or whatever, you're not upset if it's not a specific way. You're not worried that you're not going to get, because you're already full. You're already full with intention or love, or you're already full with the things that you're thinking that you have to seek externally. And then that gives you great power because you get it. You receive it tenfold. It's very strange and it's paradoxical, but it's like you might have a need, but if you fill your own need, the need is already filled, and then you get more of that thing. It's like banks. They won't give you a loan if you have no money, but they'll give you shit ton of money to loan to you when you have it. It's the same. The universe is like a bank. And it's an accountant. So when you're giving energy and doing good work and just being a pleasant person or pleasant experience to others, or just energetically, positively intended, and it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. You will get back a millionfold. I've experienced that a million times. It's anecdotal. There's no science behind it, particularly for my stuff, but you might not get that thing that you desire from a particular person. Like if you're in a relationship dating and you give to that person almost, and there's a fine line between overgiving, because that means you're depleted. So you have to stay full. So if you give to yourself first, so then when you're giving to another person, you're not going to feel resentful. And if you do feel resentful, it's time to pull back your energy from them and pour into yourself. But say like a regular relationship, and if they're not doing the things that you need to do, that you want or need from them, like in an energetic exchange, you have options. You have the choice to leave. You have the choice to fill yourself. You have the choice to see that person is willing, depending on your own stuff, because you might have stuff like around control, or you might not have let go of the energy cord of resentment in that relationship. So if you have a relationship and that resentment is there, how about you cut the cord of resentment and see how that changes the dynamic? Like the person will almost automatically change. And if they don't, you will receive that love or attention or whatever you're seeking from that person. As long as you're full, you'll receive it from everybody and anything else. Now we get these weird things of like, it has to be from this path. Like I said earlier, like we get into these stuck mindsets and stuck like synapses that it has to be from this job, or it has to be from this client, or this this person has to do this for me, or else I'm not, receiving. That's not true. You're always receiving good from the world, love, etc. It just might not come from the thing that you desire it from. And that's the tricky part. How do we get on board where we know we're always resourced? We are always fucking resourced. Say it again. I am always resourced. Resources are always with me. And resources could be anything: money, energy, love, time, um, care, attention. But filling those things up for yourself, especially the energetic component, the other things will flow. I mean, that's my diatribe for the day. I hope everybody is having a good day. And if you want to hear more, please like and subscribe, share, comment. I love you. I hope you're well. Uh, don't forget to be awesome, because you already are. How do I turn this off? I don't know how to turn this off. Okay, bye.